What's going on, guys? So today I've got very exciting news for you guys. I've got some interesting PlayStation 5 news, and I'm talking about things like specification, release date, and other couple of interesting information that I want to share with you. So I got these slides basically. I don't know whether that's from some form of Sony's internal presentation or something. It looks pretty professional to me. I mean, it's done professionally. I mean, I don't know whether that's fake or not. To be honest with you, the slides has been sent to me by Insider, so you know how these things work. This is not an official Sony information, right? But like you've got Sony Corporation all over the slides, right? So hey, let's just dive into it, and let's just hope that this information is going to be confirmed by Sony later. And if this information is true, we will actually hear about PlayStation 5 very, very soon, right? Okay, so this is the first slide, and it obviously shows you the front of the console, right? So at the very bottom of the slide, you can actually notice that it says design renders are work in progress. Final designs yet to be approved, right? So there may be some changes to it, but like I must say that I'm pretty impressed. I actually like it. It's like it sort of reminds me of a little bit of PlayStation 4 and a little bit of PlayStation 2 with this thing at the very bottom, right? So I like it. I really like it, right? So hey, but I mean, let's just get into the juicy part, right? So the very first slide talks about when PlayStation 5 is going to be revealed, most likely, and they talk about the first public unveiling of PlayStation 5 and hardware, and the hardware roadmap is being planned for February 21st, 2019. And it's still a subject to change, right? So it may be February, maybe March, right? So this is something that I've talked about on this channel for a lot, and it's kind of confirms the information that Foxy Games UK talked about, that the console will be shown in some form at the very beginning of 2019. Final hardware reveal date not yet decided. Several dates from August to September possible at Gamescom or TGS, right? So most likely the very beginning, the very first event is just going to be very. They will be talking about PlayStation 5 very vague, right? Hardware release date for the first tier region, which is Japan and North America, is planned for November 16th. Second tier regions, Europe and AU, planned for release November 23rd. Worldwide, no later than December 7th. PlayStation 25th year anniversary limited edition is going to be available to be released on December 3rd. Pre-orders from November 16th. All release dates subject to change with regards to component availability. So this is the first slide, and it kind of confirms the fact that, hey, PlayStation is coming very soon, right? Okay, so let's actually check something that everyone is actually looking forward to. Everyone is so excited about specification of PlayStation 5. So let's not wait anymore, okay? So this is the second slide I've been sent, and hey, general specifications and selling points. So according to this slide, it says that the console is going to be equipped with custom 7nm 6-core 12 threads AMD APU based on Zen 2 and Navi architecture with custom ray tracing extensions, Radeon Rays, and dedicated hardware for a variety of post-processing of the buffers like DLSS, TAA, or MSAA up to max 8K resolution. Now, don't get too excited about 8K resolution. It's probably going to be possible to output that kind of resolution, but we'll be lucky if we get each game in 4K, to be honest with you, right? But I'll probably talk about specifics later on, maybe in like follow-up video. So it says 11.2 teraflops, that's FP32, and 22.4 teraflops at half precision. So we're talking about those 16 FP16 kind of teraflops, right? It will come with 3,640 stream processors. Well, that's quite a lot of them, and that will come with 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 RAM, with an initial 14 gigabytes available to developers. So that means like 2 for OS and 14 available for games. And it will be equipped with vapor chamber cooling system. Finally, if that's true, that means that PlayStation 5 is going to be pretty cool system. Cool as in not, I mean, it's still going to be fun, but also like it's not going to get hot, right? And if it's going to be cooled properly, it means that it's going to be quiet as well. Vapor chamber cooling system is something that Xbox One X uses, right? Also, they talk about Ultra HD Blu-ray XL QL player compliant with BDA 3.2 specs, including HDR10+. Well, sounds cool to me, right? 2 terabytes hard drive in standard SKU, 1 terabyte model in first quarter of 2020. I don't get why would they produce 1 terabyte model. Makes no sense. VR capability built in with dedicated hardware for temporal reprojection, aliasing, and second screen frame buffers, can bypass original PlayStation VR breakout box if used. Forward-facing HDMI 2.1 port for PSVR 2 as well as current VR headset compatible with CUH-ZVR1 and CUH-ZVR2 via old breakout box and camera. So that's probably the both VR goggles, right? 3 front-facing and 3 rear-facing USB 3.1 ports, so 6 of them with power delivery, AC power input, HDMI 2.1 output, which is great. That means it's going to support like FreeSync and all that kind of jazz. You know, all these nice things that Xbox One X supports. 1 gigabits per second Ethernet, aux and optical connector on the rear panel, built-in 802.11ax wireless network, which is great, stands for a vertical position sold separately. Single dual shock 5 controller included in standard SKU. Console is fully compatible with existing DualShock 4 controllers. I mean, that's very good news, and it's pretty much all models, like you can see. That's great. PlayStation VR 2 headset with inside-out tracking and HDR OLED to be sold separately or in a bundle SKU at launch. PlayStation VR wireless peripheral available at a later date. Apparently quarter 3 financial year 2020. Fully compatible with PlayStation 4 titles, all of them disc-based and digital, with developers having the option of using on-the-fly asset replacement to bring higher quality assets into the older titles. So something that I reported about this backwards compatibility with a twist. So I'm not sure if you remember my video about it, right? So that's super exciting news. So that's the specs. There's 2 more. Obviously, this is the actual design and stuff. So, well, I mean, the console looks pretty cool, to be honest with you, right? I mean, just look at it; it's nice. My only concern is the glossy finish. I hope they're not going to do this, because each console with this glossy finish gets scratched like basically 2 weeks after you unpack it. So I hope they go with like, you know, normal plastic, because it's just going to be better. It looks nice when it's glossy, but then you start seeing those scratches and it doesn't look that nice anymore. So that's the actual design. PlayStation VR wireless. So apparently there's going to be some wireless connectors. So it is our goal that in 2020 the PlayStation VR wireless peripheral for the second generation PlayStation VR headset will be available for sales to consumers. Development in wireless technology in the 60 gigahertz band will allow sufficient bandwidth to wirelessly transfer dual 1440p streams to the headset in 120 Hz or up to 240 Hz at 1080p, connecting the VR headset to the wireless receiver unit powered by rechargeable battery. PlayStation VR 2 will more or less be free of cables. The new PlayStation VR controllers and inside-out cameras on the headset can work together to deliver a better fidelity. A bundle with the second-gen PlayStation VR headset, the PlayStation VR Wireless TX and RX units, and the new PlayStation VR controllers will be available, as well as the PlayStation VR Wireless kit being sold separately to existing users of the PlayStation VR headset. Hey, I guess it's no point buying PlayStation VR anymore right now. It's better to wait for this baby, right? Okay, not compatible with a first generation headset. So, that's very important news, I would say, because even though PlayStation 4 controllers most likely, if this is true, going to be compatible PlayStation 5, PlayStation VR, the first generation VR, not going to be compatible with PlayStation 5. You will need a new headset. So there we go. PlayStation VR wireless, there's some information more about the actual unit and that kind of stuff. So that's PlayStation VR wireless peripheral, uses the latest developments in wireless technology for high bandwidth streaming of audio and video streams to the VR headset using 60 Hz band, blah blah blah. So it's all like nice talk. This tech has a limited range of 6 to 8 meters at the bandwidth required, but it works well for applications such as small scale VR. The peripheral will likely use a USB connector to power the transmitter unit, but if the power output can be kept low enough, it could possibly be powered over HDMI, not in the specs. The receiver unit will likely use a Li-ion rechargeable battery to power the headset and the receiver unit. This should be sufficient to power the headset for up to 6 hours continuous use, well beyond what is recommended continuous use of VR headset. The headset HDMI cable may also be used as a pass-through using the receiver unit, but this feature may be removed before final approval. The design renders are currently work in progress, but conveys the general idea of the separate wireless peripheral that the end user can upgrade their existing PlayStation VR 2 headset with at a later date. And there's some more information about PlayStation. So this is actually interesting. PlayStation 4 Pro. This is something that Foxy Games UK was actually reporting on. So I really feel like this information, these slides have some credibility to it. So PlayStation 4 Pro, a new slim version, will be made available in first quarter 2020 to complement the launch of PlayStation 5, while the PlayStation 4 Slim will be discontinued. So this is exactly something that Foxy Games UK was talking about. PlayStation 5 new hardware released in quarter 4 2019. Obviously something that we talked about, time to coincide with both the 25th year anniversary of the release of the original PlayStation hardware and the holiday season. Initial shipments may be sparse until supply chain catches up, and this is actually something that I report about as well. An analyst from Japan was actually talking about the fact that the PlayStation 5 is scheduled to release in 2019, but there may be a delay because of the semiconductor kind of shortages or whatever, right? So this is actually something that we find here. PlayStation 5 hardware launches as a both console-only SKU and console plus PlayStation VR bundle SKU, all with 2 TB hard drive. The limited edition SKU launches a week later, and an additional 1 TB SKU available in first quarter 2020. I really don't understand why they would release a 1 TB one. hardware is compatible with the existing PlayStation VR headset, but will require the same brick. All right, okay, sorry. So I got confused. So the previous thing talking about PlayStation VR, the first generation VR not being compatible, it was referring to the wireless device. Sorry, my bad. So I got it wrong. So hardware is actually compatible with the existing PlayStation VR headset, but not the wireless connector. But will require the same breakout box using for the PlayStation 4 system to operate. The dedicated front HDMI port used for all VR on the same hardware, horizontal and vertical FOV, as well as spatial tracking will be limited compared to the new headset. See tech notes. Developer kits available across the board after hardware unveiling in spring. Select developers already have possession of early dev kits. iSteam support available. PlayStation VR simultaneous hardware release with the console, OLED screens, 1920 by 1080 by RGB with increased horizontal and vertical FOV. New headset is not compatible with PlayStation 4, so PlayStation VR 2 will not work on PlayStation 4, but PlayStation VR will work on PlayStation 5. That's what it means. Look for more in-depth development information on the PlayStation VR 2 headset in the spring ahead of the unveiling of PlayStation 5. The new VR controllers are amazing. PlayStation VR wireless separately sold peripheral for wireless streaming or VR content to the PlayStation VR headset will be available in fourth quarter of 2020 with final designs and specs subject to change, subject to design alterations during fiscal year 2020. PlayStation VR 2 Pro supposed released in late 2021 with enhanced resolution and built-in wireless capabilities in the headset. Going forward, backwards compatibility is important to maintain the PlayStation brand and ecosystem of hardware, software, and services. Be sure to follow the developer technical notes to ensure smooth transition for future hardware and service solutions. Yeah. And I think that's all I've got for you guys in terms of information. Hey, there's a lot of information to just digest. As I said, listen, I haven't had too much time to actually to digest, so I will need some time to kind of think about it as well. I just wanted to basically make this video, give the information to you, give it out, and hey, let me know what you think about it. I will make probably a follow-up video with at least specs and a couple of other things as well. So it's going to be very interesting couple of days. I wonder how many people actually got their hands on these slides. So, I'm expecting way more leaks and information coming out from different developers and that kind of stuff. So I'm super excited about it. If the specification of this bad boy are according to this spreadsheet, I'll say that PlayStation 5 is going to be a nice of a machine. 60 frames per second, no problem. 6-core, 12-thread CPU is more than enough, especially if that's going to be Ryzen 2. Hey, I'm super excited about it. You should be too. And I will see you in the next one.